'Tis the season to fear Michael Myers, and not just for the love guru. We watched Halloween, but... Do you enjoy that one? We watched Halloween, the original and the remake, and we're here to talk about it to you on this very special Halloween edition of the Horror Snobcast.
Ooh.
Spooky. Alright guys, welcome back. Once again, I am Sam.
I'm Spencer.
I am Sam. Wait, no, I'm Sean.
Oh man, we already screwed this up. We're so sorry.
I'm not Sean Penn in that movie! That's a horror movie.
That's well, I mean, there's things about it that disturbed me to my soul. But anyway, we are the Horror Snobs. And like I said, it's Halloween, so we've watched Halloween for you. And boy, oh boy, these two movies.
Yep.
I mean, should we just... I'm just going to jump in to the plot of the first one, which very... I mean, again, straightforward for a slasher film. Probably more...
I mean, like, yeah, these aren't the most intricate plotted movies.
No, it's...
The story gets a little more intricately plotted around, like, 5 or 6 when they introduce the Man in Black, and that's a whole other series.
all crazy stuff.
Paul Rudd shows up, and there's witches, like...
But we're not talking about that right now. Right now,
we're just talking about the original ones. You're getting ahead of yourself there,
Yep.
Sean.
I'm just talking about the story of Michael Myers, not the Canadian actor. That was the joke at the beginning, if you didn't get it. Although, there's nothing in any of these movies, I think, that is quite as frightening as The Love Guru.
I've watched all the wrong movies.
Yeah, all the wrong
We were watching the wrong Michael Myers movies.
Wrong Michael Myers. But the story begins with a young boy named Michael Myers, Hugh, who on Halloween kills his sister.
And boyfriend.
In the original, he just kills his sister.
Oh.
So, yeah, already. Yeah,
I fucked up already.
In the original, he kills his sister and then is put in a mental institution for about 20 years.
Something like 17 we found.
Well,
17 in the remake.
In the remake, we don't know.
I think they did exactly 20 for the first one, because I think it was like 58 to 78.
Yeah, I think it was 20 years in the first one. And 20 years later, Michael Myers escapes, goes back to his hometown, and just goes on a killing spree. And it is up to Dr. Samuel Loomis, Donald Pleasance in the original, who was his psychiatrist, who must now stop him, because everyone knows if someone is in a mental institution and they go crazy and start killing people, it is a responsibility of the psychiatrist to bring them to justice, right?
Well,
that's how it works?
Trigger warning, God.
This
Like,
was
people who are,
I mean,
going on killing sprees for mental...
Yes.
This was Jimmy Carter's 70s, so it was like a wild and crazy time for psychiatrists and serial killings.
Yes.
We were still reeling from the Nixon resignation.
And Reagan had not come and been Reagan,
Reaganomics.
I guess.
Yeah. Reagan was not at full Reagan power yet.
Yeah.
He was only at Super Saiyan 2. He hadn't reached Super Saiyan 3. I'm here to fight you, Goku.
Yeah. I mean...
we went political there for a bit.
And Michael Myers here in this film, he has superpowers such as, the ability to drive a car.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
I think he knocks on a door, right? So he has
very
supernatural abilities.
One superpower ability he doesn't have is he needs to eat. So there is the scene in the house where he eats a dog. Well, there's not the scene in the house, but Dr. Loomis comes across the dog and it's like he got hungry.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That happened in the first
one? That happens in the first one. He's
wow.
like, him and the sheriff are exploring through the house and he's like, was that dog?
Gotta eat.
He got hungry.
Yeah, it's crazy. But, I mean, one of the... This is John Carpenter... This wasn't one of his first films, was it?
No, I think it was like... I looked it up. I think it was his 4th?
Yeah, it's... earlier on in his career, but it's probably one of his, if not his most famous movie that he directed. Mm-hmm. And it was also Jamie Lee Curtis's first film role, I believe.
Yes, she did TV. It was her first film.
Yeah, but...
And she looks 35, but she's...
35 playing 17.
17. But I think that's not necessarily completely her fault, or just the way that the 80s were.
I feel like that's just a Hollywood standard. That, like, if you're going to play 18, you have to look at least 26.
Well, in, like, a plot twist, she was the only one of the teenagers to actually be a teenager while filming.
Which makes because you're like, oh, they could be actually casting older people, but she actually is that young.
Yeah, I was surprised. She did look like. Well, I guess Jamie Lee Curtis has always kind of looked like Jamie Lee Curtis. Though.
Yeah.
Which, earlier on in her career, it's kind of surprising to find out she was that young. But now, nowadays, it's like she looks like she could still be in her 30s or something, except for the gray hair.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's what wigs are for, people.
Yeah.
Or hair dye.
Or hair dye.
All right.
But Jamie Lee Curtis is our heroine of the movie. Was she Laurie Strode in both of them? I know in the first one that was her name, but did they give her a different name in the remake?
I thought it was. They said Laurie. I'm pretty sure it's Laurie.
Laurie.
They call her Laurie, but I don't know if they gave her a last name.
Yeah. I know
Let's IMDb this real quick.
In the originals, it's she's Laurie Strode, I believe.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's. It's a very straightforward horror plot. It's the night of Halloween. Michael Myers.
Laurie Strode.
Yeah, Michael Myers comes back to town. Laurie and her two friends, who I do not remember their names.
Girl 1 and Girl 2.
Yeah, Girl 1 and Girl 2, basically. He is stalking them, and her two other friends are just kind of the horny teens who want to, let's just go around and just do all this stuff. Let's dump the babysitting on Laurie, and she can watch the kids.
Because they've got boyfriends.
Yeah.
And she doesn't. And...
One of them's, I think, just going for the boyfriend, but then the other one does have the baby, the child she's dropping off with Laurie.
Yes.
Yep. And so, naturally, Michael kills them, kills the boyfriends, and it...
With one of the longest knives that
yes,
Sam had this problem.
Oh god, I'm definitely going to talk about that in a little bit.
The Longest Knife, the name of my metal album.
That's not a bad name for a metal album. Patent pending. You don't get to use it. It's ours. But yeah, it's just kind of like the typical slasher horror fare for them, killing them, and then we have Michael, a confrontation in the house at the end between her and Michael. Dr. Loomis eventually shows up with this. Every time it cuts to him, he's running around the town with the sheriff looking for Michael.
Well, he's running around, then he stops for a while to stand just in front of Michael's house.
Yeah.
And there's actually a cutscene of him talking to one of the neighbors. But it is he's just standing there, and then eventually he's he turns to his left and notices a car.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh wait, that wasn't there before. That wasn't there.
Yeah, and then I wonder. I need to go back and bone up on some of my slasher history, but because at the end we have a showdown in the house where she fights Michael, and then Dr. Loomis comes in and shoots Michael. He falls off a balcony, and he's dead on the ground, and then the last shot is Dr. Loomis going to look over the balcony, and he's gone. Was this the first slasher film to kind of do the killer is immortal and has supernatural powers where they never die?
I kind of feel like it is. I can't think of anything else that would have come out before it.
Because this was 78.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is the first. The first Friday, which we already. It wasn't immortal or whatever. That was 80 though.
Yeah, and every other slasher film where the killer has been killed at the end. Before this, I think they just died, or they had the last pop-up scare. But
big one.
Yeah, the first big one, definitely.
It'd be the first big one.
Yeah, and that set the way for the next ones. So, in a nutshell, it's
in a nutshell, double tap.
Yeah,
always double tap.
Always double tap.
And in the case of Michael Myers, quadruple, quintuple.
Yeah, just
remove the head.
Yeah, I feel like if you're ever in a horror movie situation and you get the killer down and their head is still on their body, you are putting yourself and everyone else remaining at risk.
Well, if you're in a horror killer movie situation, make sure you're the killer first. But if you're not,
Sean, that's your solution to everything.
Well, it works.
I can't tell if our morals are askew or the world is just wrong. It's weird sometimes. It's a very simple plot. Obviously, it's more well made and well done than some of the horror movies and slasher movies before it.
They shot it in widescreen or
that was a Carpenter always shot like to shoot in widescreen.
Even though it's a very low budget film, he insisted that they shoot it with. It
was one of the first uses of a Steadicam. It was,
yeah.
What was?
Well, they had like the Panavision.
The
Panavision version of the Steadicam.
But still, like, what was it? We looked it up. Bound for Glory, like 76.
Yeah.
So like
it was pretty early adoption of that.
So it did have it did create a very specific look that you now see.
It looks like a bigger movie than it is.
Yeah.
Because of the way they shot it.
And it became like a staple in horror film and slasher film, especially paving the way. Which is kind of funny, just going back and looking at it, knowing what I know now. I was like, it seems weird that it's just a very basic formula, but it's the basic formula done in a way that works.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then, what was this, 2007 for this remake? And then, almost 30 years later, Rob Zombie comes along and remakes Halloween. But it's not exactly a remake. It's sort of...
Not yet a remake, not yet a reboot.
Not yet a remake, not yet a remake, not yet a reboot. I think this is... We've used this in the Friday the 13th mention, and probably in the probably in the Nightmare on Elm Street one. I'm only saying that because we might not have recorded that one just yet.
What? Oh, God.
Ignore the man behind the curtain.
Guys, I'm sorry. I know we're only 4 episodes in, and I'm already introducing, time travel and temporal loops.
We're in Lost already.
Yeah. Look, I'm just hoping, for your sake, that we're on the island for a while still. But yeah, it's both... this is probably the best use of the word, retoot. Because it takes elements from the first one, elements from the second one in a way.
Yeah, because the second one, it has Dr. Loomis very specifically explaining, Laurie is Michael's sister.
The second one he does have the sister. Yeah.
Yeah, they mention that she is the sister, so it is he is taking what's been set up and hinted at and just showing you in the beginning.
Well, I don't know. I would argue that the first one does not give you really any
not
hints
really
that Laurie is his sister.
Oh no, not the sister, but
at all.
Loomis does talk a bit about Michael in the mental institution.
Oh, yeah,
he does go on about that, so that's more what I was meaning.
Well, yeah, in the original he talks about Michael in the institution. In the retoot, the entire first half of this film is sort of an origin story where we get to see Michael growing up
and becoming a superhero.
Yeah, becoming a superhero in the mental institution. And then...
Full of the worst people in the universe.
Yeah, I'm just going to say this right off the bat before I start summing up this movie. Every single person, with the exception of, 2 people that like their behaviors, is a trash person. Just utter garbage.
Garbage human beings.
I feel Laurie's adopted mother is pretty she's freaked out by a lot of the stuff.
Yeah, well, there was... Okay, so once again we open on young Michael Myers, except now instead of just seeing him kill his sister and then...
He talks.
Yep, he talks. We get a whole origin. We get to see his family life. He was a young boy who liked mutilating animals, which, that right there is probably a pretty good warning sign that something is up.
It is actually one of the first warning signs of psychopathic behavior. So.
Yep. I wonder why. I wonder what it is about killing an animal that people will think, maybe there's something up with this kid. Just one of the many mysteries of life. No, we get to see his family life.
It's a pretty good. It's cast pretty well. I like young Michael.
I did actually think
he's kind of a creepy kid.
Up to a point, I thought the background worked, and we'll get more into that as we get more.
Right.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest problems this movie had is no matter what part of the story it's telling, it always drags it too far.
Yeah.
Too long. But anyway, we get to see his family life. His mother, played by Sherry Moon Zombie, Rob Zombie's wife, who, she was fine in this, but I just in general, I don't think she's the greatest of actresses.
I think she works great as a supporting actress.
Yeah, she's fine, like, in this and then in
Devil's Rejects,
House of
Thousand Corpses.
Where she doesn't have, like, the lead, as you said earlier, the lead, like, very heavy emotional stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, like, as we've learned, put her next to Sid Haig, or,
Or in this case, William Forsythe as, like, the just drunk, abusive stepfather who's hitting on the older sister because he's slime, but it was so fun to watch because William Forsythe was such an enjoyable scumbag.
He really was.
I feel like that has to be on his, like, his...
Did they ever actually say what was going on? Why he had a cast on his arm?
I think he just broke it.
They just were like, he has a cast on his arm, why not?
But it seemed like they also were mentioning his legs were broken.
Yeah.
So, like...
It was setting up like he was an alcoholic bum. He must have really hurt himself on the job or something. It doesn't really go into detail. We don't
we don't get into detail of.
Yeah.
For one of the few things we don't get details on.
We don't really need the detail on that. So we have that, and then we have the older sister, obviously, again, who... Again, like, the only person in this family who was nice to Michael was the mother. Like, obviously the abusive stepfather he's going to be trash to everyone. But the sister was, like, hating on him and just like, Michael, I don't like you.
Yeah, she was supposed to take him trick-or-treating, then her boyfriend came over.
I did actually think she
wanted
did
have sex. So.
She looked like grown-up Lori, though. I did think that casting was pretty good.
Yeah, she looked
good.
She did look a lot like when there's also a baby in the family who, spoiler alert, which we've already spoiled, you find out is Lori, who is Michael's younger sister, which we don't... That's not in the original at all. That's not until the sequel to the original. But they included it in the retoot. I know it's confusing. Stick with us, because this movie.
It's a Mr. Toad's Wild Ride.
So we get to see, like, young Michael kind of get bullied by everyone. The kid from Spy Kids, the boy from Spy Kids, I can't remember his name.
Dylan Sparrow, I think?
Really? Wow. Well done.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna hold off my applause for a second as you check to make sure that's correct, because otherwise I'm gonna have to redact my applause, and I don't want to have to do that.
My phone's now not loading.
Oh no. But anyway, this kid plays his bully, and like he's picking on him, but you already see signs.
Which, like, this kid still looks like a nerd, so it is like...
Yeah.
And I think it was about this point that it really started to be obvious to me Rob Zombie's style of writing, which is have everyone say fuck and shit and pussy and tits in almost every other line. So it's like, you're listening to this, it's like, these do not sound like people naturalistically talking.
Yeah.
Like, this entire podcast we haven't been sitting here is like, so we're watching this fucking movie and this shit was like fucking tits. It's like, if Rob Zombie wrote this podcast, that would be how he introduced this thing.
Daryl Sabara.
All right.
I was pretty close.
I'm going to give you a light applause, because you weren't quite there, but...
It was close.
It was close. It was way better than I would have done.
Yes.
But we get this kid who Michael eventually... It becomes Michael's first kill, like, after school. He puts on this clown mask, which was also in the very beginning of the original. He's wearing a clown mask when he kills his sister.
You're skipping the first appearance of Malcolm McDowell.
I was going to go back to that in a second. Yeah. We can't forget that. But I just wanted to mention this bully who becomes Michael's first human kill, who, like, after school, he follows out into the woods and then beats him to death with a gigantic branch.
Was it a branch or a shovel?
I thought it was a branch. It
was like a big like hunk of wood.
Yeah. It's pretty brutal. It was a good brutal murder, but
it's Rob Zombie's style. Also, everything is very brutal.
Yeah.
Which for this it worked.
Yeah.
For this it worked.
Yeah. I mean, it's a slasher film. It's what we expect.
Yeah, but so he's got this bully at school, and they start to notice this behavior at school, like the principal.
They found a dead cat in his locker, and then photos of, I guess, him killing the dead cat or of the dead cat.
Yeah. Photos. Yeah.
So, like, killing his, like, pet rat and stuff like that, too.
Which, though, I agree with William Forsythe. Why are people paying money to own a rat?
Yeah.
You just go to an abandoned building or a McDonald's. We're taking that out for a possible sponsorship.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
But, yeah, it's... he has a dead cat in his locker at school, which is what tips him off, and so they call Dr. Samuel Loomis in this film, played by Malcolm McDowell, who first shows up with the greatest head of fake hair I have ever seen.
So, it kind of looked like the William Forsythe wig.
Yes.
Maybe they just used the same one, and they turned it backwards for Sid Haig later.
I wouldn't be surprised. The hair looked almost exactly the same.
Or maybe that was where the dead rat went. Allegedly.
Yeah. As we discussed, which is kind of funny that we mentioned this about Jamie Lee Curtis, because Malcolm McDowell has had this too, where after a certain point, he just looked like he's the same age for the past 20
since
years.
The 80s.
Yeah.
Since the 80s. It was like super young guy, like back in the Clockwork Orange days, and then just fucking old
like
forever.
Extreme baby face he had in this movie.
Extreme baby face, and now just old dude for
Then he got that
ever.
beard.
Yeah.
Oh, the
he's
thin
got
beard.
And it's down on below his jawline, yeah.
So he's introduced at this point to be like, I'll keep an eye on your son. There might be something wrong with him. And lo and behold, there's something wrong with him.
Oh my gosh, really? Spoilers. God,
I know, because that night, which happens to be Halloween, his mother goes to her job at the strip club because we have to make sure everyone knows. Because Rob Zombie. Because everyone has to know that this family is down on their luck, and this mother's trying to do everything she can for her family while she's got this trash husband and a trash daughter and killer trash son.
It's set to Love Hurts.
Yes, my God.
Oh, also mention the stepson taunted about the mom doing blowies in cars for money, which we then see her do. Well, like allude to her going to a car with a dude to do so the kid was
you mean the bully? Yeah,
the bully. Oh,
you said the stepson.
Whoa. Although actually, I don't know. Knowing William Forsythe, he's a greasy little guy. He might have their chance it could be related. Allegedly.
We get the mom goes to work at the strip club because, as we said before, and the sister won't take Michael out trick-or-treating.
Side note, is Halloween known as a popular night for strip clubs?
I don't know.
And if so, do they wear costumes? Because she didn't wear a costume to the strip club.
No.
She wore a stripper outfit to the... Wait.
Is that just her natural kind of costume then?
No, that doesn't count. That'd be like me wearing... That'd be like me working at a movie theater and wearing my employee outfit on my own hours. That's not a costume. That's just stupid.
That's she could have dressed up as a giant banana or something.
Yeah. So the mother goes to her job at the strip club. The sister won't take Michael out trick-or-treating because her boyfriend's over and they have to do it.
Which, she's asking to be murdered then. She promised to take the kid trick-or-treating and said she wanted to go up and have sex.
They know, they have evidence that this kid is disturbed and they're still treating him like just being the worst people to him. I mean, not even saying, it just, even if you're a bad person, if you know someone has homicidal tendencies, you'd think you'd be smart enough to be like, okay, maybe I shouldn't piss this person off.
Yeah.
That's just, smarts 101.
Or staying alive 101.
Staying alive. So the sister's upstairs diddling with her boyfriend, which we get the weirdest line, to let you know that William Forsythe's just her stepfather. She says, he's not my father, he's my stepfather. My daddy's up in heaven. Which is just, I feel like that's something a child, maybe under the age of 11, might phrase it that way. But for a teenage girl to be like, my daddy's up in heaven, it just feels like it didn't sound right. I feel like you would just say, my father passed.
What if heaven, though, is the name of a town? So it could just genuinely be oh, he's up in heaven, Michigan.
I don't think that Rob Zombie wrote this. I don't think that's what he had in mind, though. So just because of Rob Zombie writing it, I'm gonna have to say no, Sean.
It would just be great to do a cut to of just underneath her dad in Canada. It's just fuck this
He's
family.
He's up in heaven, Canada.
Or he faked his death to get away from the family.
So William, they're up doing that. William Forsythe is downstairs watching TV, passed out because he's a trashy drunk.
Mm-hmm.
And Michael just goes.
He probably just jerked it too.
William Forsythe or Michael?
William Forsythe. I mean,
Yeah.
actually both.
I mean, okay, that's fine, because otherwise, like, Michael's a kid here, man. Come on.
Like, a few of them have alluded to it. Like, the sister was like, stop jerking off in there.
Yeah, they were talking a lot about it. So.
Yeah, like...
Well, it's because they're being mean to him, because they're
also,
awful
like,
people.
Because they're garbage people.
Yeah, like, every time someone was mean, it was always, like, some sexual, like, referencing thing.
Yeah.
Like, even, like,
But that's just because Rob Zombie.
Yeah, it's like...
Yeah. It's...
Rob Zombie!
Rob Zombie. But anyway, Michael kills everyone. He duct tapes his stepfather, not father, because he's up in heaven, Canada. He duct tapes his stepfather to this chair the whole time, does not wake up until his throat is slit. He like wraps this guy to a chair. It's not just like duct tape his hands down and his feet. It's like, no, he like wrapped this guy good.
Every time I duct tape somebody to the chair when they're sleeping, they always wake up. So this was super inaccurate.
Yeah, don't ask why, we just know.
It's like Rob Zombie didn't even try to duct tape someone for reals.
Come on, Rob. If you're gonna do it in a movie, at least try it once in real life.
Fucking method, man.
Yeah.
Go the full Jared Leto.
Okay, whoa.
Open up the Wikipedia page on...
Allegedly.
Man. Fucking clowns. So he does that. The boyfriend comes down after the diddling. He starts eating food out of their fridge. And Michael goes Jose Canseco on him. Because he beats him to death with a baseball bat.
That's a sports reference.
Yes. It's like, I don't know much about sports, but I know enough to make that reference. Give me this one, people.
If we can make a movie reference, he went full Al Capone.
Yes. There you go. We tied it back together. And then he goes upstairs in the clown mask again and kills his sister. But they make it like weird sexual this time.
He grabs the boyfriend brought the Michael Myers mask.
Oh, yeah.
And so he goes upstairs. I guess the boyfriend dropped it on the floor.
Which is actually a William Shatner mask.
It's a William Shatner mask, which, like, I guess the guy bought William... So in the movie, not the Rob Schneider movie.
Rob Schneider is Michael Myers, rated PG-13.
The boyfriend bought a William Shatner mask and I guess like spray painted it white or just bought the mask and brought it. So Michael grabbed it and wore it and then he started touching the sister.
Yeah, it was really weird. He didn't just kill his sister, but they made him like he was like touching all up her leg while she was still half naked. It was
he was feeling her up.
It was very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable and like I don't know. Rob Zombie just has this thing where everything has to be like overly sexually violent.
Yeah.
He mixes the sex, he mixes the violence, and what do you get? The facts of Rob Zombie's life.
Allegedly. So yeah, he kills a family, goes to the mental institution, but now instead of jumping 20 years in the future, we go to he's been there 11 months and
yeah, because this is when the movie should have sped up.
Yes.
This should have been like a credit sequence of just like montage of Malcolm McDowell's hair slowly disintegrating as he's talking to a brick wall. Oh, but we do get Danny Trejo.
But no, I mean, like, it's like a normal doctor-patient thing for a while. It's just that he likes wearing masks.
Yeah, Michael starts making these masks to put on his face, and he doesn't like not having the mask.
It's like, he never really made a big deal about it until, like, I mean, I guess, like, he wasn't the weirdest out about it when he was younger, but, like, once he got into the hospital, then it was like, no, give me my mask.
Yeah.
Oh, also, Malcolm McDowell, like, is playing, like, this part of him as, like, this very kind of, like, hippy-dippy kind of doctor. And
I mean, it's supposed to be the 70s.
I guess, yeah, but it's still just, like, it's this, like, it just feels, like, weird.
Yeah,
it's like his performance.
It's like he's Dr. Loomis, buddy doctor. He's like, I want to be your friend, Michael. I want to be your friend. And all this stuff, and his mother keeps visiting him.
I do like that Michael's like, why do you talk funny?
Yeah. It's good. Ask him why he talks funny. Because he's British. But yeah, we get introduced to Danny Trejo, who is the wise ethnic janitor.
Who told Michael not to let these walls get him down because he's been behind walls too.
Yep, so it's like, oh, he's Michael's only friend in here, but then Michael starts to get more violent and angry and wants to leave, and eventually kills a nurse in there, which, after that happens, his mother is finally driven to suicide. And
while watching home movies.
Yeah, while watching home movies. What was the song they played during it? Because it was really weird. There's another really weird musical choices here, because it felt like he was trying to be edgy, but they didn't. They just came off as like, this is just strange.
Yeah, I don't remember.
He did use the Mr. Sandman song that I think the fourth movie used a lot, but yeah,
but that wasn't until later.
Was that Don't Fear the Reaper that they used? No,
Don't Fear the Reaper was one of the murder scenes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't remember which song.
It was the sister.
Oh, okay. I can't remember. Yeah. All right. I don't. Yeah, I couldn't find.
Okay.
Anyway.
Michael kills a nurse here, who this nurse, like, his mother brings in a picture to look at him of him and his baby sister. And,
Laurie Strode.
Yep, Laurie. And as Dr. Loomis is walking his mom out, the nurse looks at the picture and goes, "Oh, what a cute baby. Can't be related to you." It's these
garbage people.
These just awful people. Like, everyone, with the exception at this point of Danny Trejo. And I guess Loomis has kind of come off as friendly, and the mother has been a complete tool.
Yeah.
So Michael kills the tool nurse. Michael's mom kills herself. And then we flash 15 years further into the future.
Now, a little thing we were talking about while we were watching the movie that I pointed out, this entire sequence of Michael kind of slowly degrading probably would have been better handled during maybe a extended credit sequence. It didn't need to really even have dialogue or anything like that. We could just see him degrading. That would have been far better, but instead it was like 20 minutes.
Yeah, it went on
forever.
Far longer than it should have.
And it was very repetitive.
It was the Berlin Alexanderplatz of horror movies.
Damn, way to go for a reference. It was just forever. And then we cut. 15 years later, he is now a gigantic...
Yeah, he found some time to work out.
Yeah, it's... Michael Myers has been, like... I must have been, like, deadlifting tables over these 15 years. Because not only is he huge, but he's just, like...
he's buff.
Yeah, he's a monster of a man.
Oh, yeah, like, he's now 6'6".
Oh, yeah. And just, like an intimidating force. He's got all these papier-mâché masks all around his room. And there's...
I like that, though. It was kind of cool.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. That
Yeah, like, we could have, like, jumped into back of, like, the dialogue here as showing the escape.
Yeah, and at this point, Dr. Loomis has been like, "Michael, I know I've been your therapist for all these years, but ever since your mother killed herself, you've stopped talking, and I can't help you if you won't talk, so I'm leaving."
Loomis, out!
Yep, Loomis leaves. And we have Danny Trejo training one of the new, like,
guards,
a super garbage person.
Yes.
Played by, I can't remember the actor's name, but a lot of people will probably recognize him as Axel from The Walking Dead. Mm-hmm. Like, the first thing this guy does when he sees Michael is he just starts, like, "Look at you, you big fucker, you're probably just a giant pussy," like saying shit.
Why would you do that to an
he is
insane fucking person who is a murderer?
He is an idiot. And he's
not even that, but like he's good, like half a foot to a foot taller than this. Like Michael is taller than this dude. Also, like 2 of this guy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And so this guy's antagonizing him, touching the masks, and Danny Trejo telling him he doesn't like it when people touch his masks. Because over this whole time, it's implied that Danny Trejo has been the only person in here who's actually treated Michael fairly and nicely, and like treated him as like as a human. And you just get this garbage guy who we cut to a scene at night where another garbage guy, not like garbage men who take the trash out, just garbage people made of like garbage. Like if you opened a trash bag and poured it out on the ground, these guys would fall out. And they're like, "Oh, we got a new female inmate." Naturally, they're rapists, because why not? Why not?
But it's like, even before that, though, you get the whole thing of, like, the garbage guy who's firstly antagonizing Michael, like walking down the hallway being like, you got me on my day off out of the middle of the night for like, what is this? And then it's like, oh, look at this woman we're gonna rape.
Yeah, and then it's a girl that's just barely in the asylum too.
Yeah, she's just been brought into the asylum to be taken care of, and so they're like, first night here, we're gonna do this to you, but we're not just gonna do this. Let's take her into Michael's room.
Yeah, they take her out of her room. Not saying that they should have raped her in her room, but like they move, like they take her to Michael's room, who doesn't know, like they're like full on raping her on his bed. They're antagonizing him while talking too.
Yeah,
trigger warnings.
Yeah, very much trigger warnings because it's like very, very, very just like unsettlingly graphic. The way they do this, and
this is a pretty hairy rape scene.
Yeah, and it's completely unnecessary because Michael's just sitting there and doesn't do anything until these guys start like knocking his masks off the wall. Then he attacks and kills him. It's like,
does he kill the girl? I don't remember.
No, she's completely inconsequential because she's just.
I do feel like Michael has like a no kind of kids policy. I think, doesn't he? Like, has he like he kills. I don't know, but
they never really show one way or another.
Yeah, he kills.
But like they could have done this exact same scene if these guys had just come in here
and been like, with his mask.
Yeah, just like, hey, I'm gonna show you this guy. Like, look at this freak. Let's knock his masks off the wall without the rape. But they throw it in there anyway. Again,
because Rob Zombie.
Yeah, what the fuck? It was completely unnecessary. It in no way affected Michael or made him attack these guys because he could care less that they were doing this. It was when they touched his masks. Mm-hmm. That was just...
Yep.
But,
Rob Zombie.
Rob Zombie.
But anyway, Michael goes crazy because they touch his masks and starts killing people, and he even kills Danny Trejo because... Like, Danny Trejo's the first person Michael kills in this movie who was not being awful to him.
Right.
Who... Everyone else is, like, antagonizing him in some way, but as he's killing Danny...
ultimately... Yeah, he does kill him. He throws the TV on his head. That's right.
Dunks his head in a sink.
Because there's a moment when you think that he's actually going to let him go.
Yeah.
And then he doesn't.
He kills him and escapes. And he escapes to a truck stop where he kills Ken Foree as a truck driver.
After an extended scene where Ken Foree's sitting on the toilet, Michael walks up. And then he thinks he's going to try and do the sex with him, so there's more of like the sexual stuff.
Yeah, it's very, very long ridiculousness.
It really could have just been Ken Foree leaving the bathroom, and then Michael attacks him.
Yep, yeah. And Dr. Loomis is informed that Michael has escaped by Clint Howard.
The one, the only, the greatest Howard.
Yes. Yep. Every other Howard, not worth.
Pales in comparison.
Yep, it's Clint Howard.
Except for Howard the Duck.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's just a given. But at that point, this movie, at what, the 45, 50-minute mark?
Yeah, we're pretty far in at this point.
At that point, this movie just decides, okay, now we're just going to be the first movie, but sped up. Mm-hmm. And it's almost exactly the same.
Sped up to a certain point.
Sped up to a certain point. We get almost beat for beat the exact same movie, except... with more nudity and more...
No. We get some Udo Kier as the head of the psych unit.
That's true. It's the exact same movie, except with more Udo Kier, more nudity, and more violence.
I do have to take my hat off for Rob Zombie, though, for having more nudity in the film. I mean, that seems to be something that we're lacking a lot in the horror genre these days. People are not wanting to have hard R's, so...
That's true. It is, in a way, a staple of the horror genre, so that was about as faithful as he could be to it without making it ridiculous. Yeah. He made this movie ridiculous.
I guess the original one had the original one had some nudity.
It had nudity. Yeah.
But, it did, but this movie had a girl being choked to death completely naked and, graphically shown naked. Well, not graphically shown being.
We didn't see the inside of her. No.
But
this wasn't a gynecologist.
She is fully nude. That would be the most insane sequel to a Halloween movie. ever.
We did see less in this than we saw in Knocked Up.
Okay, but I don't know if that counts. Come on. That was all. But yeah, this movie is just like very, very. Especially in that scene, it's just very much like, look, full naked woman, not just boobs, everything.
Yeah.
But the movie kind of rushes at that point, has all that. It hits the exact same beats, except now Laurie's step-parents or adoptive parents are killed. Them.
Yeah.
But they play like almost no role in it, so it doesn't matter.
You get the stepdad being the stepmom, or I guess a foster mom, whatever, asking to talk about vacation, and then the dad's like, "I don't like vacations.
Again, it was
I just want to stay home."
It was just to have more bodies. So it's almost exactly the same as the other one until we get to the point where Michael dies.
Yes.
Then it starts dragging on
Forever.
Again.
Yes.
And at this point, it's like, this is when they start diving more into the Laurie was his sister thing, which we don't get till the second of the original movies. And then there's a whole thing where, like, he grabs Dr. Loomis by the head and then crushes his head, kinda, and kills him, but doesn't kill him.
Yeah,
he comes. I think he comes back in the second one.
Comes-
Spoiler.
Yep.
He writes another book, probably.
Comes back, and Michael's chasing Laurie through the house, and it's just way too long. She's, like, hiding in the ceiling, and there's almost a minute and a half of him, like, tearing up the ceiling.
It's like the end of fucking Return of the King. There's no logical ending to this fucking movie.
Yeah, and it just... it goes and goes and goes,
it's
and
the
then
Energizer
ends,
Bunny
but then
of
comes
endings.
back up and keeps going, and then eventually she shoots him in the head, and then screams like she was aiming this gun at his head, and keeps pulling the trigger, and they're like, no bullets coming out, until finally she gets one, shoots him in the head, and screams like she didn't expect this to happen. She didn't expect to blow this guy's head off when she was trying to shoot him in the head.
Yeah.
And that's it. And this movie, this one was like, there was stuff I kind of liked about it.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it when it came out back in 2007, and I hadn't seen it since. And I remember seeing it when I saw it in 2007, having kind of the same reaction of like, kind of at first kind of liking seeing the backstory of Michael Myers, but then kind of, just getting a little bored by the whole thing. And that was even in a theater, so... Yeah,
because for a while it's like, this is kind of interesting, and then it just drags on.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a huge disappointment to me, because I loved Rob Zombie's first two films.
Right.
I thought, like, at the time, House of a Thousand Corpses was one of the most disturbing films I had seen. Things have changed. And
this is 2016. We've seen the political election.
That's right. and Devil's Rejects, I thought was great. It was so much fun. I mean, not fun in your typical, hey, let's go spend a day at Six Flags fun, but fun in a kind of, you have a messed up mind, don't you? Yes, I do. Kind of fun.
My dislike of roller coasters, it is about the same of Day at the Magic Mountain.
But yeah, so when I saw this, I didn't like it.
I can see why John Carpenter was displeased.
If you may have heard about this, you may not have. I don't know how old the video is, but it resurfaced recently. An interview where John Carpenter was talking about this, and he called Rob Zombie a piece of shit and a liar. Because he said...
And that's in the title, right?
Yes, in the article I read, the title said, John Carpenter calls Rob Zombie a piece of shit.
Actually,
bashes a Halloween remake.
The video came out pretty recently, because I feel like I didn't hear too much about it until recently.
Yeah.
Or maybe I just wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
I don't think it was too old, but it, like, just recently started getting recognized, and he was talking about... he called Rob Zombie a piece of shit, because he said Rob Zombie lied about him. It was like, he said I was grumpy when we met. I wasn't grumpy. I was like, you make the movie your own. And he's like, whatever. John Carpenter, part of why I love him so much is at this point he's just a grumpy old man.
Well, I saw the clip, though, that he is referring to when Rob Zombie discusses, And he just like, he called up John Carpenter and he's just like, he described him as more aloof, I thought, than like doesn't give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was like, Rob Zombie's like, I'm remaking Halloween, and he said John Carpenter was like, so what do you want me to do about it? Like, it's like, just go off and make it your own.
Yeah, well, it's like, what was Guillermo del Toro posted that thing, John Carpenter, where he went to him and said, hey man, I love The Thing, and John, it's great, it's become such a cult classic. And John Carpenter's response was, what fucking good does that do me now? So
and I think like there was like someone did ask him about the remakes or something, and he was just like, "Oh, I get to keep collecting the paychecks."
Yeah.
So it is just like he doesn't give a shit.
But like
he just wants to hang out with the synthesizers now.
Yeah.
And Kurt Russell, which don't we all?
Oh god, yes.
Sure.
But like his big problem with the remakes was that like it made Michael too human. It went too much into his past. He's supposed to be like a force of nature, which we were talking about it earlier. Jason Voorhees is always the one who's felt more like a force of nature.
Yeah, not Michael Myers. Michael Myers is an escaped lunatic.
Yeah.
And I feel like because like Michael Myers is always very self-contained.
Mm-hmm.
It's always kind of like the street, and it's always like his relatives that he's going after.
Yeah.
Because it was Laurie, and then it was Laurie's daughter. So it's never like, I don't know, I feel like, the Jason just going after anyone that comes near him makes him more of like a force of
Except
nature.
for those punks in New York City, he just turns off their radio.
Yeah.
Well, he respects the punk struggle. Jason goes to Manhattan.
Well, no, it wasn't.
I liked it.
It was fun, but
But that's for a different day.
yes.
But yeah, it's I mean, I don't know if I agree with all of his points, but I definitely prefer the original to this one because, and it's not so much that it was because he made him more human. It's just that Rob Zombie dragged everything on way too long.
Yeah,
I feel like it was more of like, just Rob Zombie's handling of this story.
I kind of felt like Rob Zombie had probably been thinking a lot about Michael Myers and was like, what if this? What if that? This is what he kind of imagined happening in the hospital. He wanted to see that story. I get it. I mean, as horror fans, we all kind of want to see that, but at the same time, when you actually see it on screen, you're like, no, it's better to imagine this sort of thing.
Like Freddy versus Jason.
Yeah.
And again, it's also as much as I love the first two movies with Rob Zombie, his writing, it worked for those. It worked for this for the Firefly family that they would be saying,
it really
like,
doesn't work for
fucking
this.
shit. But in this, it doesn't feel right. It's just like, it felt like you were trying to get everyone to swear.
Everybody is a garbage person.
Yep, it makes Laurie, who's supposed to be like the girl you're rooting for, it makes her feel more obnoxious and like, I don't care as much for this girl. She's just kind of a jerk.
Because in the first one they made the big deal about her being the virgin, which she didn't have to, but like in this one she is just as sexually aggressive as like everyone else. It's all of the girls were the exact same personality.
Yeah.
Whereas like the other one, honestly, I started to wonder why they were hanging out with Laurie. They didn't seem to like her that much. But
and although I will give both movies this, they share the same problem which drove me fucking nuts. I already told you guys about it. But
there we go.
One of the iconic
cut right to the point for this one.
One of the I get it. One of the iconic kills from the original Halloween that they redo in the retoot. Michael picks a guy up, stabs him through like the abdomen, and then lets go of the knife, and the knife's got him pinned against the wall. And it's like,
the knife is toward the blade. The blade is up.
Well, I mean, I don't remember in the first one if it is, but
okay. In this one,
I mean,
okay.
Well, first of all, it's a cool shot, but this is just like a kitchen knife.
Yeah, it's like one of those like chef's knives. So it's like the blade is like probably big enough to go through the body, but even then, it's like it's not sticking that far.
There's no way, and the handle is sticking out of the body. There's no way this knife went through the body, out the other end, into the wall, and is stuck far enough in the wall where it can support a like
a 178 pound human.
Yeah, 170 pound man's body up against the wall. Furthermore, in the retoot, the blade is pointing up, so the weight of that body, even if it didn't do it in the first one, should have pulled down and like cut through.
Yeah.
It's a cool looking kill, but it's fucking stupid and illogical.
Yeah.
I don't know why it bugged me this much, because I I'll
Would
sit
have worked
there.
with Jason's machete.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, but a kitchen knife and a machete, they are not.
No, that's
they're
what I'm
not.
saying. Is like
Machete would have the room.
It's more of a Jason kill, you know.
Exactly.
It bugs you like I have questions about how Michael drove the car in the first one.
Yeah. Now Michael does not drive the car in the retweets,
And I feel like they very specifically addressed that in showing that his feet were all muddy.
Yeah.
And so it's like showing that he was walking.
Yeah.
But yeah, Michael in the original drives a car, which you have to remember, he's been in this mental institution.
And he's also supposed to be a force of nature, and I just don't imagine forces of nature driving a car. So again, I'm not fully on there with John Carpenter. But
I think you looked it up, and like a lot of people had this problem. It's like he's been in there since he's been at least 8?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 8 to 10 or something.
How did he learn how to drive?
Yeah, because in the first one he is like heavily driving too.
Yeah,
he's like most of like the first half of the movie is him just driving the car and kind of like following Lori and her friends around.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's these are the issues we have. These are
what keep us up at night.
You know, some people could be like, how can you watch these movies where they murder people? And I'll just be like, there's no fucking way that knife could have held that guy up. Come on. Come on.
How the fuck is Michael driving?
Yeah, how's Michael driving? Come on. It's just, come on. It's like, if these kinds of questions, and just, yeah.
So, anyway, yeah, I mean, I would say, are we close to kind of wrapping it up?
I mean,
here?
I don't know if there's anything else we really need to say much about.
Yeah, I mean, like,
if there's any grievances we might have.
If you're a horror fan, you know, go ahead and watch the Rob Zombie retoot. There's nothing wrong with it horribly, but just be aware that it drags.
Yeah.
You know?
It's not...
Yeah, I feel like, it's not like it's straight
up
awful.
It's not a bad movie. I wouldn't call it a bad movie. It's like a 5, you know?
Yeah. Very middle of the road.
Yeah.
It had some things I liked, some things I didn't.
I mean, if you're gonna be like, hey, you want to watch the original or the retoot? Of course, I'm gonna watch the original.
The original.
The original does feature more of Michael like playing some tricks on some of these people.
Yeah.
Because he did have like the guy strung up in the closet.
That's true.
So it is like he did set up a little, because in the retoot, the only like real thing that like Lori gets trapped in is like the naked lady in front of the headstone.
Oh my god. I forgot to mention the headstone, just because my favorite scene from the retoot has to be the graveyard scene, just because Sid Haig shows up as like this gravekeeper. Again, just foul mouth more than any person should be. But the hair they have him in.
Well, foul mouth outside anybody who's in the film industry.
Yes. the wig they have Sid Haig in, it honestly looks like you said, they took the wig William Forsythe was wearing, gave it to Malcolm McDowell after like a bunch of strands had fallen out. Then after that, after it had been even more beat down, they're like, okay, Sid, put this on.
They could only afford one wig for the movie.
Yes.
What was it? 15 million?
It was 15 million.
Yeah, they'll get you about one wig.
Yeah, only one wig in Hollywood.
Well, I mean, like, honestly,
Hollywood wigs are expensive.
Most of that had to have gone to Clint Howard.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we forgot to mention Brad Dourif as the sheriff.
Brad Dourif as the sheriff, the voice of Chucky. Don't worry, we'll get to those movies eventually. I know there are a lot of fans out there, myself included. Oh, God. The Child's Play movies, especially... Oh, I fucking love number 3. And there's something special I might do for that one. But anyway... Yeah, it's... If you're just a normal viewer of, like, horror movies, you're not super, like, film buffy or film nerdy like us, you can probably just watch the original, skip the Rob Zombie one, because it's not, like, essential watching. But if you... The Rob Zombie one, it's not horrible if you're going to watch it. It's watchable. Just know that there will be...
If you're put off by a movie that was made in the 70s, because... The original Halloween is a 70s movie.
Yeah.
It has a different pace to it than what you would expect from a modern movie. So if you're somebody that's really into the more modern pacing, weirdly enough, even though it drags in terms of the editing and stuff like that, the new one feels like a modern movie. Whereas original Halloween does feel like a 70s movie.
Yeah.
So that's the only kind of weird disclaimer I guess I would say about it. If
fair.
that makes any sense. So, yeah. Because I do know that some people, especially younger horror fans, will come away from some of these classic films and kind of be like, well, that, nothing really happened. They were kind of slow. It's like, well, that's what they were.
This is what started it.
Yeah.
Things have sped up since then.
Yeah.
But, which is weird to say about this movie, since
it's drag.
I mean, when they have the killings, those, like, all happen, like, it's like, oh, the killing. Drag. Killing. Drag.
Yeah, so he didn't know how to pace it, really, was his biggest issue.
Yeah.
Whereas the original Halloween has great pacing. It's the killings are definitely well, spread out throughout the film, and it's a slower pace.
Yeah.
And
but it moves along that pace very steadily.
Yes, it does. And the same thing with like Friday the 13th. They're very, cool. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I guess that's pretty much. I've said what I have to.
Sean, any last thoughts?
No, I can't think of anything else.
All right.
That's fair. All right. So yeah, that was Halloween, both the original and the retoot. Guys, yeah, I think. Man,
I apologize for that.
You never really appreciate a synthesizer's job until you try to become a human synthesizer.
It's quite difficult.
Oh, yeah, I feel like that should also be mentioned. John Carpenter's score is, of course, amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
It's the score alone is iconic among
I always feel like
even non
Even before
fans.
I saw Halloween, I used to have it outside my house during Halloween night. That would be the scary music that the kids would approach my house to. And I didn't even know what it was from, but that's how iconic it is.
I feel like when talking about John Carpenter movie, you always have to mention the score.
Yeah, I'm kind of ashamed of us for not mentioning the score till the very end here.
Yeah.
That was kind of a shock.
Oh, so actually,
Yeah.
I did read a trivia that apparently he originally did the first Halloween with no score, and it didn't work out well. So then, like, in 3 days, he recorded the most iconic horror movie score of all time.
Right?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, it's like that and The Exorcist, I feel like, are the most iconic kind of, like, horror scores.
Pretty primitive synthesizers back in '78. So
But they were effective.
Just shows you
works
talent
great.
outdoes technology.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for tuning in. Join us again next week. We haven't decided on the exact movie yet, but you can visit our Facebook page, The Horror Snob. It's just look for The Horror Snobcast on Facebook. You'll be able to find us. All we know for sure is that we're going to be starting a month of Stephen King.
Mm-hmm.
A lot to pick from there. We'll decide on what the movie is between when this comes out and probably it'll be up probably within a day or so on there, which movie we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But you guys can look forward to that. We have quite a selection.
Good and bad.
Good and bad.
I feel like more bad than good.
Oh, definitely.
But if you're listening to this today, happy Halloween. And if you're listening to it anytime after, unless it's exactly a year from now, I hope your Halloween was cool.
Tell us what the future's like.
The future is crazy. We are all robots in the future. I am Sam.
I am Spencer.
I am Sean.
End transmission.